Are we live?
Yes, but I'm...
We'll do it live! Hello, it's Tea Party of the Magic, and we are T and D&D. Hello, we have not been around in this specific medium for a while because you've had a bad cold.
Yeah.
But...
I've still kind of got it, but, you know.
Yeah. It's just a cold though, because we all got the negative tests.
Tested, and it was not COVID.
So we're not spreading it, and plus we're just safe people anyway.
Yes, by the fact that I quite literally do not leave my house.
Mm-hmm.
You do, because you have to.
I leave my house. I'll be leaving my house 4 times a week starting next week. Disgusting. Actually 5. 5 days a week I'll be out of my house. What is this blasphemy? We've gone from 2 to 5 in the span of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So hello, it is us. We are back. Things have happened. We started a new campaign.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
I think. How are you finding it?
I quite liked it actually.
Yeah.
I think it's cool playing a vampire. And I also liked the interaction between my character and Ryan's character because it really reminded me of Thor and Star-Lord.
Yeah, you messaged me that in the middle of the game.
When they're in the ship and Star-Lord's trying to be cooler than Thor, but Thor's clearly the cooler one there.
Like, the hottest man of the party, Ryan's character, is fairly confident being the man about town, and then suddenly, like, 10 out of 10 E-boy walks in, like, sup, and he's like, how?
Yeah.
And he literally tried putting stinging nettles to his face.
Yeah, I was pretty much just about... Oh, sorry, me in the future. I was pretty much just messing about with that, because obviously, being a vampire, you don't age. And I think we decided I was like 100 when I got turned into a vampire.
Mm-hmm. Like you're way too old even for an elf.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I'm 1,001 years old.
I love the extra 1 on there.
Yeah. Well.
That's such like a comic book line.
Yeah.
When you get to reveal it, you'll be like, I'm 1,001 years old.
Mm-hmm.
What if the game's gone a year? I'm 1,002 years old.
Oh, I'm so cool. Mm.
I'm going to deliberately do that. Very next session at the end of it, I'm going to be like, right, year time skip.
We've skipped a year.
Just so you can't say the badass line anymore.
Yeah. I think Ryan's character's suspicious, but I keep playing him and just being like, yeah, you know, I rub stinging nettles on my face, so I keep looking young.
Yeah, his character's wise enough, but like, you know, he's easily tricked if he can get something out of it, either money or something else, being the hot one, which he was before you rocked up. But yeah, I've been running Eberron. We're on to session 3 tomorrow, because most people missed session 1. Session 1 was a 2-person thing to set things up. And we're going to our full group back of 5 tomorrow as well.
Yeah,
James
we're quite
returns.
looking forward to how you're going to introduce James in a haunted mansion.
We figured it out. We know what's happening. It's going to be cool. The session ended with the party having been taken into like a creepy mansion or something, and the 2 dwarven owners were like, "Yo, can you not make noise, please?" And then I think that they got some back chat or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was from, but it triggered them to just be like, oh, I'd recommend being very quiet from now on, and then they just disappeared. And then we had a whole little 5-minute very tense setup scenario where there was just some like teenage girl walking around like, yo, what's up? You're probably screwed. Bye.
Yeah.
It was scarier than that. I'm just simplifying it. And then Ash's character decided to smash a window when they were told to be quiet.
Yeah. Well... There's just nothing we can do about that now.
Not anymore.
No.
A very late silence spell.
Well, I was thinking the way that I'm going to have to try and redeem myself is I'm just going to have to run up onto the ceiling and just be like, nope. Just be like, no. No thanks.
Run onto the ceiling.
And then that's the way that I get discovered, because Ryan will be like, what the?
Hey man, you could pass that off as like...
I'm a monk!
I did, yeah. Or you're like, I'm also a wizard, so I did spider climb.
Yeah.
That's a spell you could actually take so that you can pretend that you don't have wall walking features.
I might just do that to stick around with Ryan's character, just like, yeah, I've got spider climb.
I had to use a spell slot to cast it.
Of course. What's this other spell slot I'm using in the game? Wow.
Also, how am I also a monk at level 3?
Yeah.
But like, what? Laura's build is actually very cool.
Yeah, I'm a multi-class wizard monk. I'm 2 levels in wizard and 1 level in monk.
You got the roles that made that actually work.
Yeah.
Even when you were originally building it and thought, well, all the spellcasters I've played so far use wisdom.
Yeah.
So wizards must, right? I can't fault that train of thought, but like, yeah.
I swapped it round though, eventually.
Yeah, you did. And your build's still pretty good. You've got low wisdom, but you have mage armor.
Yeah.
So until about 5 or 6 levels into monk, it's not really going to matter.
Yeah, I don't plan to go too far into monk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely taking 2nd level monk when we level up.
Those key points. And then maybe like a subclass at some point. For if you were to do a subclass for your...
I'm going for the good old friendly same as Patch, Drunken Master.
I suppose that is a fighting style based on deception.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, personally, Shadow came to mind. Because you can like teleport in darkness and stuff. And I'm thinking, that's like vampire to a T. But Drunken Master, you just know very well, and you can get those free disengages over and over.
That is what I like more.
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to be like, hi, bye.
The thing is, the way that you've built this as well, this could sustain you until like mid to late game. Your little monk thing, shenanigans.
Yeah.
That's better than cantrips so far, and will be
Yeah.
until like level 11 or something.
Yeah. My plan is I'm going to use spells for distance, and then if anything comes up to me, I'm just going to whack it.
Mm-hmm. Which, in the first fight that you participated in, it did.
Yeah.
I'm really glad
Quite
that
in
Ryan's
front of my
no-fight
face.
spell didn't work.
Which spell was that? Oh.
Calm Emotions.
Yeah.
Because then, I'm like, I'm going to let the 2 new characters try out their builds.
Mm-hmm. I got to bite someone.
Mm-hmm. And it was commando style.
Yeah,
So
because the cart was tripped so nobody could see me.
There was a random encounter where 2 like insect humanoid things had came and ambushed, and it was they were attacking, and then Ryan's character had calm emotioned them, which they both failed because it's charisma saves and they had -2. Until after that, they were basically shouting like, "Hey, get out!" And then Valdor, Rob's character, decided to, on top of a relatively cheap cart that they bought, use the Giant Smite feature to become large. So it tipped the cart to the side. Most people fell off. And the 3 Keen had taken damage from a hostile creature. So the Calm Emotion spell was gone, which I was happy for, because then you could whack and punch the heck out of bad guys.
How someone manages to hit on a bite but not on a punch after they've quite literally bit someone.
They're like there, and then they go for like the undercut or something, and they just...
They're just like, my aim's off.
Oh, just slightly. But yeah, how are you liking the vibe of the adventure so far?
Yeah, I quite like it.
I didn't mean for you to go to Vampire Town episode 1.
Yeah.
That was just a recommendation for at some point.
Yeah.
I'm trying to present quests like that, like, there might be a problem. Maybe go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, that's fine. At least for now. So,
I still quite liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure how the hell we're going to get out, but hey, you know, give it a go.
We'll figure it out. All that I can tell you is it's going to be a whole lot of initiative and running around. Found a map for it this morning.
Nice.
It's very cool. It's a map that I actually used before for Curse of Strahd.
Oh.
So I'm familiar with the layout. But yeah, they're currently in like a haunted town. It's not a vampire town. It wouldn't be a vampire town at level 3 ever.
No.
I would never do that. If it was before you got there, I would have changed it. And if I didn't, it would just be like a really downgraded vampire.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you guys went straight to the spooky stuff.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you guys chose to do because DM gave you quest, so you go do it. That's the party mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And he pretty much just asked them over to, like, figure out who you guys were.
Yeah.
And then they were all like, okay, he's the wizard. He must have a quest for us, right? And I'm like, yeah. I've got a place written up. Go there. But yeah, cool. It's been going well. In other news, my characters are getting more and more powerful by the minute. I have a level 10 dude now. It's the highest I've ever gone, because I'm just that much of a man lad. The highest you've gone is like 13, I think.
Yes,
With-
I think Patch.
Patch was level 7 by the time that I brutally murdered him.
Was it Locket then?
Yeah, it was Locket that was 13.
Ah.
Yeah, you guys died at level 7, which isn't happening again because you're going to be smart this time.
Ooh.
I've literally said to people, like at the start of one of the sessions, if you guys TPK because you're dumb again, I'm going to stop running this game. Because I'm just not going to trust you guys anymore.
Yeah.
Let's do some questions that people have submitted via both our Discord and our YouTube. We actually posted a thing to our community tab.
Yeah, the first ever post.
Which was basically, I'm so sorry. The podcast isn't going to be here because we're that rude. But now we're here again. We'll do the Discord ones first and then we'll go to that one. So, iconic D&D villains. What's been your favourite one that I've used against you? Because you've only really properly been DM by me before.
The one that's most memorable to me has been Drycalls. I don't know, I guess because he was always sort of there, doing stuff in the background to mess with us, like that friggin' Bone Claw. Hate that.
Drycalls is an evil lich guy, typical, wants to rule the world and make it undead and stuff.
Yeah, I think that one's the most memorable, just because it was very prevalent in the entire thing.
That was the entire storyline from 5 to 15. So, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Whereas
Akrol was only really revealed at, like, level 5 or 6, after you guys had been playing for quite a while. Because he was being a dragon and waiting. Because they can do that, because he's, like, thousands of years old. And then... my current one, I don't have one. I don't have one for everyone. Because I'm not thinking that far ahead yet.
Yeah.
But, what do you... so that's what you thought made him memorable, yeah? He was very present. Like, he influenced everything that was happening.
Yeah, and it was quite obvious as we'd gone along that it was him. Maybe it wasn't obvious at the start, but in these ones, it was... because as we got further to the end, because it was like we'd put the pieces together, that friggin' Bone Claw kept coming around all the time, and we're like, suspicious. And then we eventually figured out that all of this shenanigans that he was pulling was related to Drycalls.
It was like one of Drycalls' many, I have a random thing lying about that I'm not using, let's go use it to screw over these guys. So like, in comparison to like the Bone Claw, which showed up like all the time, most of his other guys you met once maybe.
Yeah.
Because they were off doing other things. And I think one way to make a villain memorable is they gotta have their generals, if you will. So Drycalls had a circle of 4 people that were all the typical, you know, fighter, cleric, wizard, rogue types. Wizard dude showed up a few times, because he was just I was gonna say a B word there. But I stopped myself.
Yes.
But yeah, the general's method works well because it makes the party feel like they're making progress without just killing the baddie right away. And they're still dealing with significant figures. And that's something that I always mostly try to do with some stuff. Akrol had the generals, if you will. You met one of them, which was his Mind Flayer buddy.
Yes.
But the rest were off in other places of the world doing other things. Actually, I guess the Medusa as well. But indirectly, they were more like working together. But yeah, the generals thing always helps. What else is a good villain? I generally go cartoonish with them. In case you haven't realised that by now, Akrol was very upfront. I am bad guy. I will make your lives a living hell. And Drycalls was toying with you guys and pretending like he was God or something. So I'm a fan of that. I'm not really a fan of the whole this villain is incredibly like I can understand them.
Yeah. Because
I find that players don't want that so much. I think they'd rather just dunk on an absolute meanie.
Yes. Good job stopping yourself there.
Yeah. But and I mean, I suppose I could, if I put a lot of freaking effort into it, make a compelling and believable bad guy. But
Yeah.
I think it's more fun ultimately to just have, I'm a big evil guy that wants to rule the world.
Probably depends on your players as well.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
all like to mess about, and that suits us. Like that sort of villain where it's like more cartoony. But I imagine if your party's more serious,
Mm-hmm.
then they'd want something more like, structured.
And one way that you can change how your villain is kind of presented is how direct they are. Drykel's up front. All the things that you were doing in the adventure were, against him. They were his things. Which was mainly because we started in a game store, and I wanted it to be super linear for you and other people that were having their first time. It's just like, this is bad evil man, go kill.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I designed that, so he was very upfront. And then Akrol, my ancient black dragon, was pretty much working in the shadows and didn't do much until, the big moment where I played the massive music and he almost killed all of you.
Yeah.
And you had, the Open Lord of Waterdeep there, the Blackstaff, Plum, Mert, they all just couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So that was when I decided to be upfront about it. But even after then, he would have just chilled underground for months. That's all he would have done. So it would have been a little less upfront with him. And I feel like if you want to go for a more mysterious threat, then not everything has to be related to them, right? So that's kind of the vibe I'm going for with Eberron, but the final villain just depends on what you guys end up going to. So right now, the thing that you're doing isn't connected to some massive evil bad guy off in the distance or something. It's just you guys have helped out of town. And I think that if you want to create a foe that, a villain that the party isn't going to like, kind of maybe set them up for that. So you guys right now don't have a big enemy. You yourself do in your backstory, as well as a few others, but there's no one collective, this person is actively trying to ruin our life. So if you go 20-30 sessions without that, and then suddenly, boom, someone despises you and is making your life a living hell, then you're going to really, really not like them.
Yeah.
Because you've been going around this entire time just not really being bothered.
Yeah.
If you will. So that's a way that you can kind of set up a bad guy. The numbers blinking. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm just double checking.
It's only if the battery bit next to it flashes red.
The little red.
No. That's the recording button. That says when we're recording. You see what's next to the flashing that's not flashing?
Mm-hmm.
The little white box.
Yes.
If that flashes in red, that's when the battery's almost dead.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now educated on the camera. Keep that in.
Yeah, it might be in the end though, because that.
No, this is very interesting content.
Okay.
Trust me.
Mhm.
Thank you for the question, Jono. We actually got two by him, but we'll loop it back around to him. If you want to submit questions real quick and easy, where I'm pretty much guaranteed to see them, join our Discord. It's in the description. We have a buttload of members, 80 plus or something.
I can check. Bear with.
A lot. We have.
We
a lot
do
of
have
members.
quite a few.
And they're all, every single one of them, epic and or awesome. We're tech savvy people. We know exactly what we're doing with our entire thing.
Why will it not? Okay, my
There's a
phone
lot of
seems
us.
Yes.
There's a lot of us. Should we do another question?
Sure. I think my phone's just deciding it's not going to work.
Fair. This one's from Rob, who we play with and stuff.
Yes.
How would you balance / incorporate player crafted and player homebrew
I'm going to have to
magic
put a
items?
spoiler thing on if this is Rob's question. I don't want him to spoil my character knowing how old he is.
Mm-hmm. Rob watches everything we do.
Oh,
You're gonna have to
God
put a
damn
big
it.
old spoiler on it.
I'm
Well,
gonna...
You did say
Well, I told them I'm a vampire. I don't want them to know I'm 1001 years old. That's my special thing that I want to reveal. They might just think I'm, I don't know, 900.
We'll have to timestamp the video to tell them where
and
to
I'll just call it Rob and Ryan and the MTP crew do not watch.
Yeah, our entire group watches this stuff, and it's kind of impossible to talk about the things that we like without at least spoiling one thing for them. So
Yeah.
might as well warn them.
I mean, I get everything spoiled if you talk about it, because I have to edit the videos.
And then you're fine afterwards.
Yeah,
you
'cause
remember
I
like
just
one
forget.
or two things,
I just forget.
but mostly. So yeah, how would you balance / incorporate player crafted and player homebrew magic items? I wouldn't let a player just make a homebrew magic item and then just be like, I want to have this now. Because that's
Yeah.
like...
I want this super cool magic item that I created that does 50d12 damage,
Mhm.
thanks.
And it also instantly kills anyone that I don't like.
Yeah.
Just when I look at them. And it's also Thor's hammer, just, you know,
Yeah.
if I could have that,
It's
that'd
Jonathan.
be awesome.
You seen that video?
No.
I've got to show you that video.
Okay, I have no idea what said video is, but I wouldn't let a player homebrew something and then ask to play it in one of my games.
Mm.
That's not really something that I would do. However, if a player was like, I have an idea for something that I might want to have in the future, can we make it? Yes, we will make
Yeah.
it together, because then it doesn't feel like you've just basically made your own thing that you now want to give your character that you haven't really, you know, like I'm the DM, I want to make some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose if they found homebrew, you sometimes allow that.
Yeah, I do sometimes. It's very rare though. It's normally like, when have I allowed someone's random homebrew that they found? I can't think.
I feel like you've.
I might have done it before. I
feel
like
like you've done it before.
Maybe like a spell or two. I don't know. But yeah, so incorporating things that the players want is entirely fine. Like, my people have occasionally asked. Like just today, I was talking to Kat.
Oh, hello, Moomoo.
Like just today, I was talking to one of my groups that we're currently on hiatus with because we're doing something else while I prep, and just basically asking, hey, any final downtime things? And like one of our players was just like, hey, so can I get proficiency in blacksmith tools and then maybe try and make a magic item? And I'm like, hell yeah, what are you thinking? And they gave me just like, I don't know, cool shield. And I'm like, we'll talk about it. And that's a much better approach than, alright, I haven't asked you, but I've made this massive homebrew item that I now maybe want to see my character get in the future. It kind of feels like you're already expecting a yes.
Mm.
Which normally if people ask questions where they're already like, yeah, I'm totally going to get away with this because it's super balanced, I'm just going to say no because that's a rude move.
Yeah.
But yeah, make it with your DM or with your group or something, because then it's you know, hello cat. Then it's just better because you've collaborated with it with the guy that's making the game instead of just making it yourself. However, balancing it is another thing. Balance and magic items don't go together at all. Magic items are the thing that make balance not a thing. You know, the CRs and stuff, and how I say sometimes that like, oh, beholders adhere to the CR or something.
Yeah.
And if there's a party of 4 level 13s, they're likely to have a very fair challenge against it. But if the party of 4 level 13s all have legendary and up magic items, then it's not going to be as hard. Unless they're all sovereign glue, which is the best magic item. It's just glue that doesn't unstick ever.
Ah.
It's not legendary, but it is technically, but it really shouldn't be. And the only thing that can destroy it is another legendary item called Universal Solvent. So, like, yeah. There's some fun traps that you can make with, like, Sovereign Glue as a DM, I guess. Like, things that just don't move at all, no matter how much you try. But, yeah, that's bad. But, yeah, balance and magic items don't go together. So, more so think, what are your players gonna think is cool and what isn't going to entirely ruin your balance. So you can go pretty well with magic items, I've found. I myself am a bit more restrictive with them, except more recently because I've been like, well, the games that I am running are kind of like, you're a hero, have all these items. So that's kind of been my stance on it as of recent. But yeah, balance it around. Because if a player's like, hey, can we make this thing? The player's going to be having the thing unless they die. or if they specifically say, hey, I'm going to make it for someone else.
Yeah.
So, whereas with most magic items, it's kind of like you're making them and then you're just going to put them in the dungeon and then whoever takes it, takes it. You're making it for one specific character, so make sure that it doesn't, you know your party and you know what they're good at and bad at, and don't make what they're good at exponentially good to the point that it's boring. So like, if I give you a magic item right now that let you punch 10 times, you'd think it's cool as hell, and then 2 sessions in, it would get real boring.
Yeah.
So just kind of consider that. That's an exaggerated thing, but don't give the paladin with 23 AC a +2 bonus to that. Because, yeah, I almost did that. I kind of did that, +1. But they done it. They've been alive for a while in comparison to the rest of the party. They've been there for 25 sessions. They deserve it. But yeah, I suppose that's what I got to say about that. Do you have anything to add about balancing player homebrew magic items?
No.
When you submit your questions, they're for the both of us, guys. So...
I mean, I don't mind.
I mean, fair enough. But there's some questions, like we gotta... What did you learn from Curse of Strahd? Like, you can say nothing to that at all.
Because I've not played it or run it.
No, you've just...
All I can say from what I've learned from Curse of Strahd is to not stream it on my damn computer, because it doesn't work.
It works fine if there's no cameras.
Yeah.
Cameras just always screw over everything.
It's still bugged.
Yeah.
Because my internet is... I'm not plugged into my internet directly. It's through
we gotta find a proper place.
Extender.
Like a proper place to get Wi-Fi and stuff.
That I can plug my damn PC into.
Another question by Jono will do. How do you think tool proficiency could be used better? So you have a proficiency in a tool right now as your character. Is it like... What is it? I think you can like write real good. Forgery? Something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You can forge documents and stuff.
Yeah,
and you
I
have
think so.
illusory script.
Yes.
And people think when they take that, oh, that means I'm just good with the tools. But now you also are really good at spotting forgery. So if you find a letter and you think it's not real or something, if I say like, oh, do like an investigation check, and since you're proficient in forgery, you could add proficiency again.
Yeah.
So tool proficiencies are more useful than you think, honestly. Most of them are just like, okay, you have these tools, and there's no real like, because the handbook doesn't have specific rules for all like 35 tool sets, so it's kind of improvised. But you can kind of, so forgery can be a number of things. It doesn't always have to be letters. It could be like you're just copying like entire small construction things. So you could copy and remake like an entire inkwell or something.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and then you could, I don't know, make the glass look like it's like worth hundreds and hundreds of gold when it's worth like silvers. So I don't know, stuff like that. You can be real creative with them. Obviously, the real tools that everyone should have are thieves' tools. You've had them before. They're incredibly useful. You open everything, and that's really, in comparison to all the others, what they do. I guess you could maybe like, I don't know, set very minor traps and alarms and stuff, but other than that, you open things with them. But you can get real creative with them. What else is there? So there's blacksmith's tools, of course. You can make anything. Like I was talking to my players earlier, and they were getting the blacksmith tools. And they were like, "Can I also make a magic item with that?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because now you can forge stuff, and you're a spellcaster, so you can also do stuff like that with it. You can make magic notes if you want. You can make those paper bird things from Waterdeep if you want.
Yeah.
They're
cool.
The fold up things you can throw and they'll just follow someone. You could spend some time doing that if you wanted, because you're a spellcaster and you can get real creative with it. This is the cat podcast where
they can't see the cat.
Misty is here.
They probably could when she walked in while you were talking.
Yeah, they definitely could. She always shows off before she sits down. Make sure to model it.
Yep.
But yeah, be creative with tool proficiencies and things and stuff and things. I guess most of the problems that D&D has can be solved with be creative.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you are exponentially so.
Yeah, but not in that particular sense.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want to break up some of this here to quickly ask you, because I've been trying a new DM technique, and I don't know if you fully noticed it yet. But last session, there were a few times where you hadn't talked for a short while, and I, in the middle of everyone else...
Yeah, because you asked me, and I was like, hold on.
And in the middle of everyone else had kind of been, Ryan, Rob, and Ash doing their classic, we're all just going to talk. And then once I found a space where they stopped, I asked you what you're doing.
Yeah, I was like...
How did you find that?
I actually quite liked it, because sometimes I think, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to get a chance to say what I want to do. Or I think, am I just going to have to pretend like I'm there when I actually want to do something? Because I did actually want to go and talk to some other people.
Yeah, like, once I'd asked, I was very impressed when you almost immediately had something you wanted to do. And
yeah,
I'm like,
because I was thinking
wait,
about
she
it.
always... Oh.
I was thinking, oh, I don't really want to be here at this bit. Well, while they're talking to these people, I probably would have walked away. And then when you asked me, I was like, what? I actually get to do this thing that I thought about?
Like, we're all chill people, and if you just tried to talk over us and like we're just like, no, I want to do my thing, we'd let it happen, but I know that's not easy sometimes.
But,
so me being the DM, I can interrupt anyone whenever I want, so I'm using that power to let you do it.
Yeah, but for me, I don't feel like I could do that in like an actual thing, so I thought that was quite helpful. But I can't guarantee I always have something I want to do.
Oh yeah, of course.
Half the time I'm just like, this is a cool idea, I would not have thought of this. And then if you were like, Laura, what are you doing?
Sometimes
probably
it's
the same thing.
Yeah, sometimes it's fine to say that, but just as kind of a confirmation.
Yeah.
So an entire moment was born out of the fact that I'd asked you that. Because you'd wanted to go and like talk to someone else and ask them what the heck was up.
Yeah.
I
was hoping it was going to be a woman, so I could try and woo her with my good looks.
I mean, you don't know if it was a woman.
Vampire style.
That voice was very strange. You could not make out gender.
Yeah, well...
They got a very creepy person on the other end, just like,
as soon as I
die.
saw that it was creepy, I was like, my tactics are not going to work. Never mind.
I basically randomly thought for a short while, like, I was just randomly coming up with the people. So there was one guy who was like, you're dead. You're screwed.
Yeah.
I'm not answering the door. And then everyone was like, alright, come on out. He's like, dude, stop shouting. And they didn't get the memo.
Yeah.
And then after they threatened him a few more times, he's like, right, I'm going to die. I'm just going to pack my things and run. That's what he did. And then the next person you talked to was a real creepy guy who had probably gone a bit mental.
Yeah,
and then
that way.
While you and Valdor were exploring and found that like destroyed wizard tower, the other two had, because I actually separated them in the call, the other two had talked to like a teenager on the other side who was like desperate for them to solve the problem.
Yeah.
So they got like an actual sane person talking to them for once.
So that's what I was hoping for when I went knocking on a different door, but instead I got an insane person.
It was a 50-50. That entire town is screwed.
Yeah. Hello, Misty.
But yeah, apparently that worked pretty well. And again, you don't have to have anything ready for when I say that.
Yeah.
Just because I figured, like, when I'm... Like, I kind of realised recently by playing a very introverted character that I have all these cool ideas that I end up never telling anyone, and I'm like, is this how she feels?
Yes, sometimes.
I have to really hold myself back from not just coming up with all these master plans and telling them to everyone. I come up with them and then keep them to myself. One time, like, one of the other players, like, proposed that exact plan, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Because no one's asking me what I want.
Yeah.
Like, if they were just like, hey, Rix, what do you think? Then he'd tell them. But he just kind of stays there and just watches. Like, there was an entire hour and a half where, like, people were moving around barrels and investigating them and seeing all this, like, weird fat in there and trying to lure out some massive worm thing, and I was just stood there. And then the only time I did anything was escaping the worm after they summoned it.
Oh, dear.
So yeah, I get that feeling, so I'm like, hey, if no one else is going to ask you, I'm the DM, I got it. I did the same with Ash at one point as well, after, like, in the Haunted House segment, I did it for both you and her, because neither of you had really said much since. Just trying to look out for you guys and make sure you do cool stuff so that you can add to your treasure hoards. I've actually incorporated that treasure hoard mechanic that I did a video about a bit ago into my game. Nothing yet has come up. It's all been pretty streamlined. But whenever you do something sick as hell, I'll tell you that you just got like a buttload of money.
Yeah.
Later on. Alright, let's move on to our last question from our community post, which we did. You can also submit questions in the comments as well, which are, believe it or not, down below. Did you know that?
No, I really didn't.
I'm glad you do now.
I've been educated.
Yeah, they're down below. Unless you're like... I can't think of what platform it isn't down below.
I think they're all down below, aren't they?
Better be. Otherwise we're wrong, objectively. This is from Richter Mist. They really like Curse of Strahd. DM/D&D burnout and having campaigns lasting too long. Have you ever personally had D&D burnout? Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Because we were playing it a lot at some point, and you'd got in on that, even though you'd said to me way before, like, I could never do more than one a week.
Yeah.
And then you were doing more than one a week.
Yeah, well...
And you noped out of that after a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause some people can take different amounts of D&D. I myself have a very high dosage.
I mean, for me, in my day-to-day life, I don't talk to a lot of people.
It's mostly just me, really.
Well,
And
I'm
family.
talking about in-house.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, I'm pretty much just in my room all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I only go... People either walk into my room to talk to me, or I walk downstairs to talk to someone, or they ask me if I want tea, and I'll walk downstairs and I'll talk to them while I'm waiting for them to make the tea. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, having 2 sessions of D&D a week with 5 or is it 5?
It's around 5.
With about 5 people twice a week. Oh, well, that just no. All energy disappeared, I just could not handle that.
I think it's best to figure out how much you can take, how your endurance is.
Yeah.
How much.
Clearly, for me, it's just 1. If it was any more than that, no.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I ended up having to leave James's Eberron campaign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
stuff like that happens. I myself do not see a limit.
yeah.
No, I want to keep 2 days to myself, and that's what I've got right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing in 4 games, running 1, and that's great for me. I still get most of my time to just chill.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really... Because people like to put extrovert or introvert. I don't know if I'm either, really. I like both angles just as much.
I am very much introverted.
Yeah.
If introvert was a person, it would be me.
But yeah, you're on a camera.
Yeah.
But cameras are
But that's not a person. Sorry, everybody watching, you are not a person.
You're not real. Wake up.
You're not real. You look like a box that is quite tiny and I can hold you in my hands.
This is a simulation. Get out.
Yeah.
Um,
You, however, are real. I can see you and you're a person. Just like the cat here is also real. I can see her and that's a cat.
but I'm your boyfriend and she's your cat.
Yeah.
So that's easy.
If you were a random stranger,
You would be...
I'd be like... I mean, you know when you left me and Rob in the call?
Yeah,
Neither of us talked
I assumed.
the whole time.
I was
We were
really
just
hoping Ryan would go with you, so that both groups would talk
yeah,
out of it.
but we were just there like... I even contemplated just like disappearing for a second, going to do something, but then I was like...
Would have
no,
been
what-
awkward if I showed back up.
Yeah, I was like, what if he comes back in? And
That's
then,
fair.
so I just waited.
Mhm.
But yeah.
You guys chose to split up. I didn't. I didn't say you guys have to split up now.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you didn't. You didn't
Yeah.
decide that.
I just walked off.
I did, however, check. Like, after people come up with plans now, I'm also getting the habit of going, is everyone on board with that? Because, and of course, said yeah, but like, yeah. DM burnout. I've had it.
I've had it after running a one shot.
After 1 hour of running a one shot.
Yeah. I mean, it failed. I mean, come on. The first one failed massively because I killed you all. And
The first one was... They were both better than you think they were.
So, well, I overthink everything, so
it's
for me...
D&D. We're not going to care if it's bad,
either
because
way,
you're not out to, like, murder us or anything. You're
Yeah.
trying to make it fun. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, but either way, I overthink everything. So I think to myself, fuck that. And then I'm like, I don't
That's
really want
double
to do it anymore.
censorship right there.
Yeah. And
I've been trying.
and yeah, and then in the second one it went a bit better, but I thought to myself, oh god, if I've got to do this next week, I think I might just sit and cry for half an hour. So then it became a one shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, right.
I don't know if Goose Campaign would retain its gimmick. From
No, I don't think it would.
I really liked it, but yeah. I got
don't
to murder
think it
so
would
many
be.
geese and ducks. It was
Yeah.
great. I did like that the geese's arch nemesis was like ducks. They were like being attacked by duck bandits,
Yeah.
and they were doing Mario Kart stuff. I myself have ran 4 games at a time at once.
Mhm.
I very much stopped doing that. I'm down to 1. Soon enough, in about 2 months, I'll be running 2, but that's still fine for me. I can do that. And they're both homebrew, which I feel like might be a slight challenge, but yeah, I'm fine with it.
I imagine for me, if I'd have decided to not do homebrew for the first 2,
I always try and recommend that people start with a module. It
but
gets
then
them
I feel
into it.
like I'd be too committed to the module, and then
Mhm.
I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, it's fine to start with a module, and then if you have your own idea, go from there.
Mhm.
But modules always help with a few things. They help when you look at formatting, that like you can see how things are like structured, so you know kind of how to write them a bit better. And it
Yeah.
also gives you some cool ideas for things you could use in the future. And it also just makes it so you don't have to prepare anything. They're fun. They're good. But only some of them are good. Some of them are awful.
Yes, you've mentioned some bad ones before.
I've ran some bad ones. I've played in some bad ones. But yeah, running 4 games at a time I cannot recommend at all, ever. That's far too much, unless you don't really work. Then it's alright. Or if that's your job, then it's fine. But I feel like if you're running 4 games a week, and they're not all modules, it's just going to be exhausting. Even if they are all modules, that's a lot. Like you're the front person talking. I myself personally didn't find the running it itself exhausting. It was more so the before and after. You know, prepping and then.
Oh yes,
You know,
that's the bit I enjoyed because I didn't have to talk to people.
you could just prep me a campaign,
That's true.
and then I'll run it because that's where we both shine.
I could do that actually. That would work for me.
Yeah, just write me a campaign. We're good.
I'd just make you a really funny one shot.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll make Goose 2 and you can run it.
I'll run Goose too. I'll do funny goose voices. I can't do them right now. I can't think of what geese sound like.
I just did honking in the middle of mine. Yeah.
It was great. But yeah, don't run too much D&D for you. That's an awful idea.
Yeah.
You running D&D itself is a lot for you.
Yeah, I think most of it is because I am very much a solitary person and I stick to myself.
It might be an element of social responsibility. That kind
probably.
of... Because you couldn't... I don't think I could ever see you hosting a party.
No, God no. No.
Like, however, you could... Again, we kind of work pretty good together because if we were like living together properly and stuff and it was like Halloween or something and we wanted a party
No,
here...
I probably could because I would think it all up in my head and I'd do all the things to make it a party. It would just be the actual hosting part of it that I would struggle with.
Yeah, exactly. So you make all the decorations and then I'll act like I did it.
Yeah, I can come up with like a theme. You know how people are like, yeah, come up dressed as Minecraft things. I could come up with a cool theme like that.
I want to see that so bad.
Like, I could do that, right? And I could set it up, and I could be like, right, everyone's coming as this. Cool. I'd have everything sorted, but then as soon as people start walking through the door, I'd be like, hi! And
then
it'd
I'll
be a
talk
bit
to
of
them forever.
Yeah, and then it'd be a bit of a bad party. I'd be like, you guys want cool music.
Just bring James over. He'll do like 3 speeches. It's fine.
That wouldn't surprise me, to be honest.
Yeah, he likes his speeches. He's done a few in my time, and will continue to do more. The last party that I was at, he hosted, and he did like 3. Bless him. It was very, very cool. He's a speech guy. He likes to stand on top of the chair and get everyone's attention.
Ah, yes. Yeah. If I'm ever at a party, I will run straight for the animals.
Mm-hmm.
That is my area.
Or the family members.
Yes, because I've been to various parties before. Although, in those parties, I haven't known other people that were there.
Mm-hmm.
Other than, quite literally, my brother, who I stuck to, and we stood in a corner the entire time. Just like, you see this meme? This meme's cool. Mm-hmm.
Oh, me, Luke and Tyler are the opposite.
Yeah.
None of us are together in a party ever. We're all off with our own age groups.
Yeah.
I'm with the adults, and then they're with their age.
If anyone sees me in a social situation that has too many people, I'm just there like,
what if we
please
get
leave
like
me
super
alone.
popular and we do conventions?
I'll just say, I'm so sorry, I'm not coming. Here's Jake. You care more
Hi.
about him.
I'm the guy that you watch.
Let me be the personal assistant. I'm not
You
involved.
get me, Mum. Tea.
Yes, I'm just like, you want tea, Jake? Here.
Yeah.
You want I don't know, sandwich? Here. You want to leave? Cool. Me too.
If you-
I wanted to leave since the beginning. Let's
You've
go.
got that really awkward aura about you just talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bless you.
I just am not good in social situations.
That's like a polar opposite, because I was raised in a pub.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, we have very opposite upbringings.
If people see me in public and I'm not with Jake, politely refrain from talking to me.
If you see me in public, make sure that you take a photo of it, get my autograph, and tell everyone you saw me.
So, if you see me, I don't mind saying hi, but please, just please, don't talk to me too long. I'm so awkward.
We might need to remind them, like, every month
Yeah.
to do that, because people will do it.
I'll just be like, okay, come on. And then I'll just run and I'll be like,
I'm the opposite. I'll have attention.
yeah, I hate
Give
it.
me all of it.
This is why you're the front man of this channel, while I'm just here to sit and watch you talk about D&D and occasionally make comments.
That's how we do it. That's how we work. And then when we go on our tangents, you're suddenly the main woman.
Oh yeah, I can go on a rant for days if I'm on something that I want to talk about, like quite literally just what I was on about how I don't like talking about being around people.
Yeah. I find that we're opposites in that respect as well. I'm pretty good at the camera stuff. I'm pretty good at talking.
You'll notice I don't look at the
presenting.
camera very often.
Mm-hmm. I don't particularly either, but
I mean-
I'm always looking at either you or it.
Yeah, no, I look at the wall.
It's very interesting, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
If the camera's facing this way, though, I usually just look at myself,
If I'm
because
doing...
I'm just that hot.
If I'm doing... I'm going to ignore you said that. If I'm doing, like, if I was to do the main videos like what you do where you sit down and you talk to the camera, I probably would look at it. I'd feel very awkward.
We should get a teleprompter for it.
That's a good
And
idea.
we had to look at it.
That's a good idea. I've seen a YouTuber that I watch. She has a fancy teleprompter, which basically shows her. It goes in front of the lens, and it shows her herself, just on it.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a teleprompter, but it just shows her, so that she looks at herself while she's talking.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Very
I
cool.
thought was cool.
I think we need the cat here every episode.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been stroking the cat this like pretty much whole time she's been here.
I have too. She likes her belly rubs.
Yeah, except when you do them too much and she starts attacking your arm. She almost attacked my arm.
I know. I could see that the arms were like that, and I'm like, that's totally in pouncing range. I'm gonna just be careful with it. But yeah, that was T and D&D.
Yes.
The best podcast in the world. It's the D&D podcast that's really not the D&D podcast.
At this point, yeah.
It's the Tea and Magical Party. We should rename this. No, we've already got it. T and D&D is too iconic. You can write it really easily. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, then do all the YouTube things like liking, commenting, and subscribing. We do this every week, or we try to, but sometimes colds get in the way. If you want to see more of the stuff, then we have like a big old playlist full of the stuff, I think, right?
Yes.
So
we have playlists for everything.
We've probably got upwards of like 50 podcast episodes now, right? Including the old ones.
Yeah, probably.
We did that for a while.
A long time.
So if you want to binge watch a thing for an entire day, I think it will take more than a day.
More than a day.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff.
You ready? 174.
174.
Technically 175. No, because this one.
That's way too much. Were you looking at the views of the playlist?
No.
174 podcast episodes.
Oh. I'll get it back up and I'll show you.
That's not at all true. I can tell you that right now.
Sure it is. Oh yeah, that is the views. 33. My bad.
That's more reasonable. I
should have looked down and seen 13,639 in the same thing for the Waterdeep series.
We had that many.
Realised, yes.
Yeah, I do series on modules and stuff that you can check out. I do all sorts. I haven't really done a module video in 8 billion centuries, but that's fine.
Yeah.
We're not really a set channel. We do whatever. This has become basically the only constant.
I've become more relaxed in what we do now because it used to give me a panic when you said I'm not going to do this type of video today. I was like, ah! Oh my god.
Like, for example, I'm just sat in front of the camera and you're like, what are you doing today? Isn't it Waterdeep? And I'm like, no, I'm just like,
oh lord.
I'm just not going to do Waterdeep. I don't have much else for it.
Yeah, I was like, oh lord. No.
Mayday.
Yeah.
But thank God you're more relaxed with it because, you know, that's going to have to be the entire vibe if you've got me here. But yeah, thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Hopefully submit questions to the Discord or in the comments. Or I feel like that could get us demonetized. We will hug you if you do.
We will cry. I will cry.
Yeah, that's probably true. Even if whether you do neither, she'll probably just cry.
I'll just be like, ah, what is going on?
Thank you for watching. See ya.
Bye bye. Please don't see me in public. It's a very rare occasion that I'm outside the house.
Take a photo of my ass.
No.
Zoom in.
I mean, that's okay. Sure.
And slap it.
No, that's sexual assault.
Not if I gave them consent just now.
But that doesn't class for the future. That only classes for today. Right this second.
If you see me today.
Oh Lord.
Make sure you
I
get a clap.
give up on you, I swear.